On September 14, 2021, the House of Parliament amended the Drugs Prevention and Misuse Act to allow a decriminalization of a maximum of 30 grams of marijuana. Prime Minister Philippe Pierre indicated that the decriminalization is one step toward the manufacture and commercialization of the cannabis herb in St. Lucia. That amendment came after decades of members of the Rastafarian community demanding the herb's decriminalization. Rastafarians, however, are still asking for more to be done to legalize and commercialize the cannabis herb. Mr. Tafari, chairman of the Caribbean Rastafari organization, is calling on the government to vindicate Rastafarians.
Rastafari been calling for reparatory justice as it pertains to cannabis. Because right now all the leaders are in the mode to legalize and go into business. Now we all know the tribulation Rastafari endured as a result of our association with the cannabis plant.
Recently, regional organizations like CARICOM have been asking for some form of reparatory justice from the European colonizers. Royal visits by members of the British royal family in celebration of Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee sparked many protests across the region. Reparations committees are asking for compensation for the 400-year-long enslavement of African people.
So the justice and healing thing is a wake-up call, not only to the government of St. Lucia, but the region on the whole, that Rastafari is ready to rise to the fore, especially as it pertains to the cannabis industry. And for that to happen, there must be justice and healing.
However, the cries of Rastafarians for reparatory justice have been heard for decades to no avail. The Ubuntu are also partnering with the Cultural Development Foundation for an Emancipation Day march. Will the calls for reparatory justice finally shake the European metropoles into submission? Or will yet another year pass with post-emancipation cries falling on deaf ears? Junior correspondent John Tench, MBC Prime.
Following fruitful discussions with the heads of the Nyabingi Order last week, Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Joachim Henry paid a visit to the Nyabingi Order headquarters in Cantonment Vieux. The purpose of the visit, which was held on Sunday, August 21st, was to evaluate the Temple of Rastafarians in an effort to provide further assistance. In recognizing the presence of Rastafarians here in St. Lucia for the past decades, Henry has observed it's important to note that the children of Rastafarian families are well placed in schools.
The children are some of the well-behaved children at school. Some of them are very productive, some of them receive awards. And the Rastafarian order, the Nyabingi order, certainly in terms of the way of life, also is interesting for some of us who probably do not know. They adhere to strict biblical principles. The women observe biblical traditions in terms of how they dress, how they cover themselves. Their diet is also of value to society, and they have contributed well over many years.
Henry states that Rastafarians have played a pivotal role in sensitizing and raising awareness to the nation before government's involvement in terms of observing Emancipation Day. In that regard, he says, they too are painting on St. Lucia's national canvas and promoting blackness, roots and history.
I am pleased meeting with them. They are a registered organization under the Ecclesiastical Affairs. They receive support from the government in the past. They were happy to share with me that land was made available in the south of the island. The former Prime Minister, Dr. Anthony, I was told, supported them then, and they are looking to receive further support and to help them become stronger as they impact the lives of our people in St. Lucia.
Henry says that the Rastafarian community has a wide range of skills and qualifications, dispositions and competences. He believes that they could play even more a broader role in mentoring the society. He says despite their struggles in the past, Rastafarians observe that they have led to some respect and are more accepted in the island's development agendas. More than 300 Rastafarians participate in the Nyabingi Order in St. Lucia. Nyabingi attempts to keep the link between Rastafarian faith and African heritage close. The group is named after Queen Nyabingi, who ruled Uganda in the 19th century and helped reduce the influence of colonial powers. The name Nyabingi is believed to mean death to all oppressors. Cecil Actil, MBC Prime.
Cannabis is an essential part of Rastafari religious practice, and we've made that known to this government. CARICOM has said that, but they insist on not doing anything about it.
GRC General Secretary Kafra speaking to media on Monday while on the picket lines. The Ghana Rastafari Council representative recounted having engagements with the then APNU AFC government, now opposition, and the PPPC regime on the omittance of criminal charges for the use of marijuana.
It has medicinal benefit and therefore it should not be classified as a dangerous drug. Right? It should not be classified as a dangerous drug. Therefore it should be completely removed from the Dangerous Drug Act.
Embracing the notion that some CARICOM countries have already revised their psychotropic substances legislation on the decriminalization of marijuana, Kafra said that this legislation was proposed to both governments, but the actions seemed to be abortive. Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandadal said that there were no amendments that were proposed to the government by the Ghana Rastafari Council to scrap custodial sentences for the possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana. Nandalal, however, posited that the amendment of the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Act 1999 bill will be tabled at the 50th sitting of the National Assembly on Monday.
Amendment to the Narcotics Act. Perhaps a vexed question, but something that we have to address to stop putting our young people in particular into the prison system for a protracted period of time for possession of small quantity of marijuana.
The Attorney General said that while other Caribbean countries have decriminalized small quantities of marijuana, it was decided after several engagements with various facets of society that possession of large amounts of marijuana will still carry a criminal sentence. The amendment will see persons in possession of 15 to 30 grams of marijuana receiving community service sentences, while possession of 15 or fewer grams will see persons being prescribed counseling, according to Nandalal. This was what other GRC members had to say.
What about the Rastafari for over 40 years been going through all this discrimination? You know what I mean? For a nice sacrament.
You violated our rights by sending us to prison for something that should be bailable that you say is no bail.
I think the government of this country should look into this bill very seriously, because the outer world is moving away. Where industrial marijuana and medical marijuana is concerned and recreational marijuana, it becomes $1 million business.
As marijuana remains legal in most European, North, South American and Caribbean countries, the Rastafari Council is upping the ante for the immediate legalization of marijuana in Ghana. Antonio De reporting for the HGP News.
On Heroes Day 2022, Leonard, Howell, considered as the founder and father of the Rastafari movement, was honored with the badge of honor of the Order of Distinction Officer Class. Now, many conversations afloat as to why he has not yet received a higher national honor, such as the Order of Merit, Order of Jamaica, or others bestowed upon the legendary Rastafari reggae artists Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bunny Wailer, or even why Leonard P. Howell has not been declared a national hero outright for the effort he extolled, as well as the personal sacrifice and the stigma he endured in championing the Rastafari movement. We welcome his daughter, Kathy Howell, the co-chair of the Leonard Percival Howell Foundation, and she shares more about the legacy she is upholding of her father's work for all of us. Good morning, Kathy, and welcome to Sunrise.
Good morning to you. And first, let me say I am so honored and privileged to be on your program on this day of the 92nd coronation of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Al Selassie, Kings of Kings and Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, Elector of the world, and to our Queen Empress Benin, I give thanks.
Amen. Well, you know, you have started us right on a perfect footing, but closer to home, your father is on a level that I think, sadly, enough Jamaicans don't understand. I mean, they may be able to call his name, but give us some insight as to the value of the examples he has set and the value of his work and legacy for Jamaica.
I think as a child growing up, let me just quickly say this. I saw my father as just mere dada. We call him dada. You know, he was just daddy. For me, it was just my father. But later, as I grew up and become more aware and to acknowledge this man who have gave his life for the liberation and the salvation of his people, you know, makes me quiver inside. Sometimes it trottles my words, and when I think of the atrocities that he has gone through, I get to a point where sometimes I can't breathe, and tears runs like a river flowing from my eyes. But what my dad did was he taught Black people about their history. He taught them about self-reliancy. He taught Black people that they were from kings and queens of Africa, and they mattered. And they were not a people that the colonial government considered to be inferior. As a matter of fact, they were superior. My father taught people in Jamaica, in Jamaica, what it means to unite, to come together and live in solidarity. He established the first Rasta village in Jamaica called Pinnacle. Yes, and in Pinnacle we live in a union. I mean, brothers sharing with each other. There was a time I remember as a child when I visited someone's house, you could never go to someone else's house and not having something to eat. As a matter of fact, they get offended. So there was an ideology of you share because you care. It doesn't matter if it's your food, whatever it is, you share. My father taught people even in Pinnacle and elsewhere in Jamaica how to eat to live. I mean, we Rasta, as you know, in Jamaica, we're about health and wellness. And it's been this way for us all these years. And in the sense that when you look at the value of your tradition and your culture and your history, you know, it gives you a sense of belonging. I know that a lot of people in Jamaica doesn't understand, you know, where we're from and how important it is to look at us as the first Black people, actually, as the first human being of creation.
I'm very glad that you said that, because on this particular day, you're actually waking up and opening the eyes of persons of the significance of the speech from His Majesty. Now, in terms of the LPH Foundation and carrying on your father's work, I know that you guys have expressed that you are happy for the honor, the OD, and the work continues to get him to higher awards or even to be given equal status as a Marcus Garvey in recognizing the work that he did. But just real quick, where you are with that, what are your hopes and expectations for that? Because this is significant and I just don't want that to be lost.
Well, you know, when you look at history in Jamaica, you know, as my dad would say, everything is in divine order. When you look at history in Jamaica, they did the same thing to Marcus Garvey, but the people were the one that agitated that Marcus be taken back to Jamaica and buried and sent into a special place where he was among the national hero in Jamaica. And at this point in time, we have to do the same thing. We have to agitate, we have to send letters to the government, we have to bring awareness to Jamaica to let them know who this man is. Because I don't know of anybody in Jamaica who have gone to jail and has suffered as much as Owen for the liberation of Black people.
All right.
Kathy, we have to leave it there. I'm going to invoke a very Jamaican word right now. That's just a tops of what we need to speak to you about. And one of these days, we will participate in ensuring that the message goes out there and that the people of this country understand who Dada, as you call him, was for what the Jamaican identity is now today. Thank you so much, Kathy, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Peace and blessing to you and everyone that's listening to this program.
Amen.
Give thanks.
Give thanks.
Nzinga could not come out here. She's not a mad woman. And if she's mad, we never see a mad person look out them here before. We are here today in solidarity with the president in Kingston in respect to Nzinga situation as it is. What we are asking for the government to empower the public defender office, that the public defender can investigate these type of situations. Because from time to time, it happens, and when it going to the court, they get lost in the court. So we are saying that the government should empower the public defender to do investigations. And when these investigations carry out, what should happen is that the public defender should be able to prosecute the person.
Violence is a worldwide thing against police and domestic violence. Yes. Domestic violence, but violence is violence, right? And what the police did, what the police lady did, she had no right to do that. Look, my hearing is right? And if I was to tug on my hearing, you know the pain that I would endure in my scalp? Right? For days and days, my head hurting me, you know. You understand? If I keep my locks, it joined together like this, and I simply just try to pull it apart. The pain that I endure, much less for a young girl to pull her locks out from the root. That police lady with no disrespect with you as an officer also, she's a liar. And when you're a grown person dealing with children, there are standards that you have to take, right? She should not have said that the young lady pulled it out. If the police officer who did that to us as Rastas, right? You are an officer. You know how she's allowing you to look in the eyes of us? It's as if all police is the same to us. We don't trust you. No, not really. No, yes. Everyone is not the same, right? And we're not trying to be ignorant about it. But what I'm saying is, with what she did, right? And we are Rastas. We are honestly going to be looking at it that no, we can't just Rastas ban police then. Because if
justice in the country
when I come into the police station because of something that I did wrong. Talk to me about what I did wrong. Don't violate my personal life like that.
I was invited to the launch by I think it's the chair, Blackett, his name? Blackett. right? Anyway, we are saying as a community that we give thanks that we were invited. The person that contacted me said that the same gentleman, the chair, sent an invitation to me to represent the Rastafari community. I in turn had to ask that someone else from the community, be able to come with me to this. We feel slighted once again in that Rastafari was not invited officially to sit at the table. We don't mind the talk about we'll be contacting you and the consultations. As you know, the same thing was done with the cannabis agenda, the medical cannabis agenda, and we've been left out of that. Presently, I still have the government in court fighting for sacramental rights, under the old constitution. So I'm fighting for constitutional rights in the court, and a new constitution is being drafted, and I, meaning Rastafari, have been left out. I see every other facet of the society represented, the Christians, the Muslims, the business community, the disabled, and Rastafari community who has, even the government has said that, we make up the fabric, an important part of the fabric of the Barbadian society. The Constitution, we view the Constitution in itself is a Pan-African agenda. This was set in 1966 when we were moving from a colonial space to an independent space. In that same year, April of 1966, Haile Selassie would have visited Barbados, and he spoke to Errol Barrow at that time, and he said, that he expected great things to come, from Barbados moving out of a colonial space. So right now we are saying that even at the 24th or the 25th hour, that Rastafari should be included. I don't mean me myself, but a representative from the community should be officially included at the seat.
Why is it taking so long? The question being asked by Rastafarians. I am standing here at the Victoria Park in Grenville, where Rastafarians as well as non-Rastafarians joined forces on Saturday, marching through the streets of Grenville onto the Victoria Park, all with one aim: to get the attention of the authorities to speed up the process of the legalization, or as they say, decriminalization of cannabis. As the caravan rolled along from Canal Road through the streets of Grenville and culminating at Victoria Park, St. Andrew, many stood in full support of the Rastafarians, citing the move to decriminalize and or legalize cannabis as a positive move. This visitor says the stigma that has been following Rastas for years should no longer be.
I was just thinking that, there are some people here, or, people in general, who seem to have a bit of a stigma about Rastafari. I don't think that they really understand what Rastafari is about. And so they just see the locks or, perhaps the outward appearance, and they have made up their mind about how the people are. And I think that that's wrong.
Freeing up the herb, as the Rastafarians would say, is not about being able to smoke without restrictions, as another bystander shared his testimony as a non-Rasta on the medical benefits of marijuana.
And I'm in full support, more than 100%, because it's good for medicine. My daughter was cured with ganja root, and it is no lie. Somebody recommended ganja root. I also have to suck the coal out of her nose. And I give her ganja root, boil it, put it in the fridge every morning, and look, she's there. She just turned 24. I could testify to that.
Livingston Nelson, a promoter of culture and blackness, also shared his thoughts.
I believe both legalization, I believe in decriminalization, but basically legalization. Simple because I don't believe man have the right to decide what God put or what nature put on earth should be so decided by other man. If we believe in God as a Christian, a so-called nation that is a Christian nation, we should allow all what God created to exist, and we should exist in peaceful coexistence with it.
In an interview with Agriculture Minister Peter David in January this year, he noted that the bill for the decriminalization of marijuana already went through its first reading in Parliament, awaiting its final stage to be debated in the House of Representatives before it is passed. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell also gave the assurance.
The Rastafari Council today protested the amendments to the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Amendment Bill of 2021. According to Rascafra, General Secretary of the Council, most importantly, the bill failed to recognize the use of cannabis as part of the religion of Rastafari.
We have been challenging the governments, and I say the governments because we've been doing this since under the previous PPP government, the coalition government, and now the PPP government presently. So we've been very explicit, very unambiguous. They know what our issue is. The United Nations told them in the recommendations coming out of the Working Group of Experts visit in 2017 that they've been violating the rights of the Rastafari community in Guyana, and recommended to them that they should immediately address it constitutionally, right? So UN told them that, and subsequent to that, the United States government embassy here in Guyana have been sending their report to the State Department. Every year they do a State of Religious Freedom in Guyana report that they send to the State Department. And they've also been acknowledging the fact that the Rastafari community's rights, religious rights, has been and is being violated in Guyana, right? So the government knows these things and they have failed to address it.
The removal of custodian sentences for persons in possession of 30 grams or less of cannabis, amendments to the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Amendment Bill of 2021 were passed on Monday evening in the National Assembly, paving the way for the removal of custodian sentences for persons in possession of 30 grams or less of cannabis. He posited that while this is a step forward, the bill does not grant amnesty for those already in prison for small amounts. He and others on the picket line said there was no consultation on the bill and it is lacking.
Because this time around, the Rastafari community have to be given the rights, the religious rights, because CARICOM and the United Nations, because the International Organization of Guyana already spoken, all religion in Guyana agree that Rastafari must be given the sacramental use of the holy herb. And we call upon the United Nations and CARICOM to see to it that this government of Guyana make leeway and inroads for the Rastafari community to practice the culture outwardly.
That we are so stiff-necked in this country here, that we would allow our young people to go to, because this law as it stands is going to see more of our young people going to prison. Because if you miss the counseling, if you miss the community service, you are going to be fined, which is $250,000, and also you have the possibility of going to serve 3 years in prison. This is not right. This is a travesty.
There were no consultations with the Rastafari community and the government or the Parliamentary Select Committee that had responsibility for it, that was chaired by Mr. Anil Nandalal. What the Parliamentary Committee did was to send out a call for submissions on the bill, which they did not heed, because I heard it from his own mouth that at that time they had received 15 submissions and none of the submissions, not even one, sided with the government's bill, because they felt that it was lacking.
The Rastafari Council said they will be moving to the court since they believe that their rights have been violated.
Supreme law of Guyana, and if any other law is inconsistent with it, that other law shall, to the extent of its inconsistency, be void. The inconsistency of the law is that it violates my religious rights, that is in Article 38F. And it, the Constitution, the supreme law, not the law of my right, this Constitution is supreme law. And any law which is inconsistent with these rights, that law is void. It's written right there in Article 8. We carrying them to court, you know. We carrying them to court.
Because if you check all the changes that are occurring in the Caribbean with respect to their act, that is front and center. Persons now have the right to grow plants in the yard. The issue is not if they should grow, the issue is how much they should grow. That is the issue across the Caribbean. And in Guyana, we don't want to talk about that. We want to maintain this unjust, discriminatory, and racial bill that is targeting Rastas and other African people.
Back again to Judas, this Zion.
Yes, sir, man.
You're back again, and today it's very cold today in Africa, in Kenya. Kenya is in Africa, and we are preparing tea.
Yes, man. African tea.
This is African tea,
yeah,
but we know African.
We have the Kalawara, and Kalawara have the tea cells. See, we have the osmum.
Osmum.
Yeah, the osmum have also the tea cells.
This is tea.
This is tea. This is tea. Yeah.
Rasta tea.
Yeah, man.
Zion
yeah,
tea.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
There's no sugar.
No sugar, no tea leaves, you know.
What is in here?
We have the osmum, or the holy basil. Have tea cells. We have the avocado, the indigenous avocado, the tips, and we have the kalawara. Yeah.
How many herbs are here? How many plants? I can see this is not like tea. It's like
man, let me tell you, it's the tea. You'll drink it and you.
No sugar.
No sugar.
For how long have you been?
Because you know
drinking?
sugar. If you want to add sugar, we can put like the sugarcane viz.
So you don't know anything like milk or
no, don't take milk, you know, because you know nowadays they're giving the cows the chemicals.
But you know, in hospital, the doctors are telling you have to drink milk and all. To, I don't know.
Okay, you see, you look the compost of the milk, give you the protein. So you can make even the gaja milk. You can make the macadamia milk. You see. So you want to take milk, you just go crush the gaja seed and make the milk, man, out of it. I mean, drink the milk. Or the macadamia. The taste
very bitter.
No. You'll zip it in
you know, at my place we are used to give this for goats and all. That's all I know.
Yeah, man. So the goats used to be taking the herbs. Instead of still taking the herbs, you give it to the goats, man. You see. Yeah. Because if you can remember, my brother, in 1937 and going down, people used to be feeding their cow, their goats, their sheep with gaja leaves, you know. And if you could have taken those meats, you're taking the herb direct from the meat. See. So nowadays we prefer to take it we ourselves.
Have you ever been into hospital?
I can't recall when.
Or you only go to the hospital for your dogs only?
For my dogs, yes. For my dogs. Because if it's the painkiller, I just go take the blackjack and boil them. That's the painkiller. You see, you want to make wine, I can make wine, my brethren.
Using what?
Like, no, let me bring some plant over here.
Mrasta atakuja kutua hapa. Leo tutapikiwa hapa. Jamani. Majani ya mbuzi bwana.
And this
This is managu.
No, that's the edge of trumpet.
What is it used for?
And these, if I crush those two leaves.
In my village, we used to go to toilet with this.
No, this is not the one that used to be good.
It's very soft.
This is the edge of trumpet.
Edge of trumpet.
And have like white flower or yellow flower. And I can make a wine out of it.
This?
Yeah. I can also make a wine.
Ganja wine?
No. Yeah. The angel trumpet wine.
Angel trumpet?
Yeah.
How
and you cannot take, you see the tablespoon.
No.
The tablespoon, the small one. If you take the whole of it, my brother, you can sleep for even 1 week.
How did you know about all these herbs or all these plants?
Read them through the books, my brother.
You have done a bit of research.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, because I see this, it's like new, everything here is new.
Everything is new.
Where were you before, or where were you living before?
Okay, you see, I was in Kitengera, because I used to be working in the Blue Triangle Cement. So I was a plant operator. And then after Blue Triangle, I worked there for 17 years. And then I forwarded to Somalia, in a town called Bulahawa.
Yeah.
And then after Bulahawa, to Madeira. To Madeira, I went to Nakuru, in Kabarak farm, the Moises farm.
Yeah.
See, and then after that, I came direct here. So we are trying to construct, like, we have a workshop. You see, sometimes we make those things. So the flower.
This one.
So the flower is. So we are the one who make those.
Using what? These old crawls?
Yeah, these are the old crawls. This is the cement.
Just old crawl and a cement.
Yeah. So we recycle instead of burning them.
Very creative, eh?
You see. And in fact, on January and February, we were in Legalize home. It is we who did the whole of that landscape.
The deputy president?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
To make these, eh? How much is this?
When it's fully completed, it's 3,000 to 4,000. With a flower inside it. You see. And we also keep the rabbits. The reason why we keep the rabbits, it's for the meat, because the rabbits give us the white meat. And also, we correct the rabbit. Let me show you. We correct the rabbit during.
You will sell all for?
And we have all types of grasses. This one is the carpet glass.
This carpet?
The carpet grass. This is another type of grass, you see? Because this place will be our gym, museum yard, Instead of
this is a gym.
Yeah,
I can see you have divided all these places.
This Camp David.
Camp?
Yeah,
this
camp
for camping?
Yeah, this is for camping. I have a tent over here. For this yard and the other yard over there. Before the house, we used to be sleeping on a tent here.
And here?
Here, this is for the flower.
The flower
bed.
This is for camping? All this?
Yeah. You see this, all those are the grass. It's a front of the grass. There's another type of grass over here. Then you have tortoise here.
We have a tortoise here.
Yeah. Called Baraka.
Baraka? Is it male or female?
This female. 86 years old.
And how do you know it's a female?
How do you know it's a
the
female?
The specialist from museum came here. And that is how it is a female, because of this shells over here. You see?
Yeah.
The tail.
60, how many years? 86 years.
And they counted, they used those stuff to count the ears.
This one?
Yeah.
The cells.
Brethren, enda pale ukuja na rosemary. Weka kia rosemary hapo ndani.
Guys, this is Baraka.
And this is rosemary. You see, you have the rosemary here. That's rosemary. You can make it like a spice.
This tangawizi?
Yeah.
Tangawizi?
Rosemary. Rosemary. You can make it to make your rice, for your tea. You see? And then
this is the gym in here.
This is the meditation corner. This is a meditation corner.
So this is a work, an ongoing work.
An ongoing work.
An ongoing project. Rabbits, you keep rabbits as well.
Keep rabbits as well.
And the urine?
This is the cage for the rabbits. But it was so cold, like about 36 rabbits.
They all died?
Yeah. It was, the cold was so fierce, you know, remaining with one. And you have a Lulu dog. You breed the dogs too, you can see. Breed the dogs. This is Lulu and the puppies. You see, you know, the complete this. You have a young Pinky over here. Yeah, Pinky. Pinky, come on.
Pinky.
Come on, Pinky.
She's
female, huh? Yeah, these are female. Pinky, hi.
Where were you sleeping before? Before all this?
On the tent, my brother. And before the tent, we used to be sleeping here without even a house.
Here?
Without even a blanket, my brethren.
Sleeping outside?
Just only the fire.
You and your wife?
Me and my wife and the Freds, you know. There was no house, my brethren, till for like 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
And why wait for that long?
Because the work was on progress. And then we used to be going for the radiscaping, the Radi home, the deputy president home, you know, and the MCA for Kasarani also.
Roughly, how much are you worth?
Now I'm 51 years old, my brother.
51?
Yes, I.
How much you can say you are worth? How much? Like how much do you have?
In terms of
money,
you know me,
properties.
You know me. I'm a Zionist, you know, and Zion is Africa, you know.
Check
you
out.
See. So, oh yeah, I was to show you the urine, yeah. This is the rabbit urine, which I've harvested. And this, if you put 10 ml, no, I'll go for it. Don't put that one, eh?
How much is this?
20 ml is equivalent to 20 liters of water.
This is 5 liters, eh?
Yeah, this is 5 liters.
And how much is this?
This, I don't know how they sell, but I want to use it on the farm. Because I have another farm. At like 5 acres in Kemafari. We are doing the farming over there. Yeah. And we don't want to use the fertilizers, we want to use the organic stuffs. Yeah.
You always keep it, you always try your best to keep it natural.
Yes, man. Because I know to put those chemicals inside my body, it's so easy, but to remove them, my brother, it's not easy, you know. Get a stroke, get a cancer, you know. So that's the urine.
Emancipated but still not free. That's how the Rastafarians from Bubble Hill, who paid CVMTV a visit Monday, feel about the celebrations of freedom.
What do you call it? Emancipendent. Emancipendent. One of the biggest wickedness of our people. Because you forget independent and you still not the place of them carry. You should have gone home forward.
Elizabeth is still our yeah. Exhausted in Jamaica. So in my opinion, go Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I couldn't that master. So them in Jamaica not reach nowhere yet. You see, why so much black people in a prison? We don't see no white, no other nation. Why? The program against the African.
Their notion of freedom as black people fighting for liberation would look more like this.
I would love to see 7 mile or 13 mile of black star line take us back home, where them bring us from. Africa, Ethiopia.
Do you think there's a place for you in Africa at this time?
Yeah. Africa with its creator. Yeah, they want us home. What is it? Is the government, the politician in Jamaica, or whole leader?
Or this.
The black people suffer in Jamaica. The politician can't help us.
Over the years, when them are free up for them prisoner, England did have them prisoner, them send them to America. I see how powerful America is, and a prisoner built up, you know, the English them. You see, so why they can't free up these prisoners in Jamaica to make we carry them home back to Africa?
Do they want to go back to Africa though?
Some do. It's better than in the prison choice.
Since March 1958, the group says despite them lobbying successive governments through letters for repatriation, they remain stuck on the island the colonial masters left them. When questioned on the inclusion of the Rastafarian culture for the floats and the street parade, they grew critical.
They cannot lead Rastafari for Rastafari. Rastafari would have to lead it for ourselves and show them what we are about, you know? So that's just like a cloud. You're upon a cloud, a float, and the cloud disappear and you drop.
So like what Andrew want to say, how we put Jamaica on the map with culture and black that in the public.
Yeah.
So see like how them set up this floating and all. It's like a works him a bring up. Because you know real. If him did real him that make we know what's going on.
We never know.
Entertain we long time in our office. Because we write him many letters.
They said, are you serious? Who gave you this place? You are not making money here. You're doing nothing. I told her, but that's the point. Not to make money, but to just be available for who wants to eat vegan food. So many different kinds of people find their way to this door because of the organic pull. There's a pull there, you understand me? So when they arrive, they are always saying, oh man, it's hard to find your place. But they find it.
「私の名前はともみです。私山梨、日本の山梨っていう東京の隣の田舎のところから出てきて。
I'm the man called Aizaba, literally meaning the silent witness. Tomomi is the master chef. She is the face of the Terrazen. The Terrazen Center is in a side street, 5 minutes away from the central station. Full of tourists, this town, Amsterdam. As they enter the door, they realize, hello, what's the story here? Are we in Europe? There's music also to enhance the meal. And the person finally feels, wait a minute, I'm transferred to another dimension of their life. And then the food is vegan food.
テラゼンの人気のメニューはビーガンプレートで、ジャマイカンプレート、ロティーラ、お好み焼き、ドラゴンロール、バーガー。
At the Terrazen, we serve part of it is a Japanese, Asian flavor, and the other part is Caribbean. So that way we get a balance of how the hemisphere is going, the world, you know.
This is our kitchen. It's too small. We work 2 or 3 people, and I'm here every day. 唐揚げを作ろうと思います。本当はチキンで、ジャックフルーツです。最初にニンニクをこのすり器で、生姜ですね。そしたらこれ料理酒って言うんですけど、日本のお酒、お醤油、塩コショウよく絞ると本当の唐揚げのようになるので、うちお客さんよく来るよく来てくれお店入る感じだとあんまり機嫌よく入ってこないんですよ。のお客さんもいるんですけど、食べ終わった後すごく笑顔になるで帰ってくれるっていうのがよくあります。おそらくビーガンレストランの日本食オランダではそんなにないと思うので、そうですね、喜んでもらうためかな、やっぱりそれが励みになりますよね。
日本にいて最初京都半年間勤めてて、で京都で音楽作ってた。
すごいレゲエが流行ったんですよ。流行ってた時にいろんなレコードショップに彼のポスターがいっぱいあったんですね。で名前だけ知ってて、でそのライブを一度見に行って下北沢なんですけどそこで行って彼が声かけてナンパされて、そこから田舎もんだよね。
それは思わなかったけれどね、フレッシュっていう感じあった、その時ね。そして役にもう25年間かかった出るまでAll right. Hello, my man. Good. Hey, my man. Maybe I buy 1 coconut. Yeah, papaya. All right.
初めてそのビーガンっていうのも知ったし、びっくりしましたよね。どうやってね、体がね、エネルギーを保つか。 でも日本では精進料理ってあるじゃない。お寺でもそれすごい古い話なんだけど、お寺の出身で、おばあちゃんはずっといつもご飯とか作ってもらってて、それでおばあちゃんはお寺の出身だから結構野菜がやっぱり多い。
In the whole Caribbean where I was growing up, there was not popularized the word vegan. 40, 50 years ago, a vegan person was not good company. He doesn't drink beer, he doesn't drink alcohol, he's not socially, fun. For me, this is more the connection with the earth. I was born in Suriname and my nationality is Dutch. Let's say that my colonizers were Dutch. So you'll have to come to the top country to learn what they were thinking.
それから1ヶ月も経たないうちにもう彼と、長男で2人で寝袋持ってオランダ何も計画立てずにで突然行っちゃってで6ヶ月のでどうしようっていうことになって何かビジネスしなくちゃいけないっていうことになって最初お店オープンした時上の2人は手伝ってもらって家族経営してました。子供たちは、アイズ、キンズ、ゼローズ、スターズちょっとみんな変わってる名前なんですけど
At first I didn't follow many rules, so the government came. They said, "Where is your permit?" I said, "Permit for what?" They said, "Are you serious? Who gave you this place? You are not making money here. You're doing nothing." I told her, but that's the point. Not to make money, but to just be available for who wants to eat vegan food. The gentleman told me there are many spaghetti shops and meat shops around here. He said, "Where do you fit in?" Well, I'm a vegan, so there was no category at the time in his book. But the guy was thinking, maybe I have a point. So they allowed me until I could get myself together. And so it happened.
As a Zen vegan person, you try to keep your organic focus. Where in the city, maybe there's a park, maybe your own garden. Wherever you see a flower, yes, there is hope that someone will recognize the poetry and the symmetry of what life is today. Once I'd have a garden at the entrance because it was to make them step on stones before coming to eat. There were so many people stomping in that finally the garden was like being crushed. This is plantain. It's a family of the banana. These are staples of developing countries, The national way to use it, most people would fry it. But as a young Rastaman, I would eat them raw. Every inch that you bite of the food that you will eat should be nutritious, every part. Cooking now is part of the way of life. If the earth is not involved, then the Rastafari revolution is no meaning. Because the meaning was really not to be oppressed and at the same time provide for your own on the land. Where is no form of oppression over me, the natural groundwork of adhering to the earth and listening to the earth.
Celebrating Africa and its people and commemorating the 59th anniversary of the founding of the African Union. The Arts and Culture Festival is centered around music and fellowship. The annual event aims to foster community relations, knowledge and development.
Yeah, we still want a united Africa, as tedious as it is from the grassroots, from academic spaces or whatever, but that's the aim of the festival, to still foster Pan-Africanism in its true essence, And here we are curating education, arts, culture, sharing knowledge, sharing consciousness, conscientization. It's the 6th year, it's been growing. And yeah, we will continue to keep the community aware and to celebrate the 25th of May.
Revelers travelled from beyond the Western Cape to join in the festivities.
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself a lot. Yeah, with friends from the Northern Cape, yes, from the West Coast, also as well.
For we as a woman, I want to express, especially the woman. For us, it is togetherness. For us, togetherness is happiness, and it is a unite. We come together to promote unity amongst each race and culture.
Locals also got a chance to celebrate with their community.
I just love the vibe here, really. The food is good, and celebrating Africa Day here in nature, it makes it extra nice. And the environment and the people, the food, as I said, it's good, and the music as well. So yeah, it feels good to celebrate Africa Day here in nature.
The event is also a fundraiser for the Rastafari community's House of Judah Tabernacle in George. Segwi Chetty, SABC News, George, in the Western Cape.
The tenets of Rastafari are that the hungry be fed, the sick be nourished, the aged protected, the children cared for. And so for me, to do this was just natural. It was like, oh, I've got a chance to do what Rastafari is. Everything that we do is from the heart. It comes from inside first. When I first spoke to Impact on Urban Health, it was time to just say it like it is. I'm Sister Stella Headley, and it's Sister with a T-A-H. I'm from RMUK Wellbeing. We support vulnerable households, primarily with healthy, nutritious food. And one of the key learnings with the funding was to be bold enough to just say it like it is. Even more so, it was important we were listened to. What this has given us is the opportunity to put together our business plan and actually start to move forward long term.
The weekly protests against the October 2021 coup usually gather thousands in Sudan. Among the demonstrators, some stand out with their flags, placards, or hairstyle. Members of the Rastafarian community proudly wear dreadlocks. In the majority Muslim nation, unlike in Jamaica where most Rastafarians are found, wearing dread doesn't have religious overtones. It's a way of protesting the October 2021 military coup. We as youths refuse all our government's violations. After all, we don't consider it a government that represents us, the youth or the people. We will keep the Rasta until the regime falls. After it falls, I might shave my head or keep my Rasta-like lifestyle. We do not consider it a religion, but rather a way of expressing opposition. The number of Rastafarians in Sudan is unknown. Environments like this art exhibition in Khartoum celebrate reggae culture. However, the community largely lives underground. Men and women Rastafarians would face persecution under public order laws during Omar Bashir's tenure. During anti-Bashir protests, I knew that if I got arrested, security forces would shave my head. It was my motivation to keep running from them. It was very bad, and I feel this behavior from the authorities is back. The prevalent stereotype links dreadlocks with drug use and unbecoming behavior. So there are some restrictions on Rasta-like lifestyle. For many people here, it is more acceptable to have an improper hairstyle than having my hair in dreadlocks. The killings of several Sudanese Rastafarians in mass anti-coup demonstrations since General al-Burhan's takeover have given rise to a popular protest slogan, "The Rasta never dies." For now, wearing dreadlocks, listening to reggae music or having a Rasta-like lifestyle remains an act of defiance in Sudan.
Oh yes, I know now.